Go.
Hello and welcome to
Welcome. Oh, we can't keep doing this. Welcome to episode 5 of Jason Statham Facebook, where we'll be talking about the Chupacabra.
Yes,
Yeah.
as my co-host said, this is the 5th episode of Jason Statham Facebook, and today we are going to be talking about possibly one of the most divisive pieces of folklore in the Western
Big
Hemisphere.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we'll get into that in just a second. But as you said, we're going to be talking about the goat sucker itself, the Chupacabra, and the real essence of what this episode will be is just figuring out what that mouth do. You know what I mean?
What that mouth do?
Uh,
It's the throat goat, really. It sucks everything.
So true. um, and what we have to figure out is really where it came from, what it looks like, so you can kind of identify it. Because again, there's a lot of discrepancy, which we will get into when we get to the appearance section.
And you need
Its
to
behavior.
know. You need to be able to identify this beastie because it doesn't mess around. If you've got a goat, you need to know what you're looking for because this shit's dangerous.
Yeah, goat farmers, sheep farmers, not so much pig farmers, because that's
Pigs are good.
haram, but
Yeah.
like and again, we'll look into that in behavior, and then finally we'll look into an actual documented incident.
Chupacabra incident. Yeah.
Documented chupacabra incident, DCI, if you will.
Yeah, that's what the professionals call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a friend
because
who has a degree in goat sucking.
Yeah.
And they were quite helpful for this episode. A lot of research.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's what they call it. So we're going with that as well.
very big in Wales. Anyway.
Yeah.
So I guess what we start with is the origins of the chupacabra, and
Yeah.
the origins
Where it
are
came from.
fairly simple, and it just comes down to the fact that through evolution, this is kind of at the key of it. Through evolution,
It's at the key of everything. Yeah.
yeah, really.
It's important. It's important stuff.
Through evolution, in this kind of like I forget the term, but it's where two paths are kind of think like parallel to each other, have evolved.
Oh.
And what it is
Yeah,
there's
it's homologous.
yeah,
I actually know
homologous.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically this kind of homologous phenomenon. I think I used that word correctly.
Yeah. More or less. It's good enough.
And what it is
is it
now I'm not a
analogous?
biologist, I should say.
Wait,
but
it might be analogous. I think I fucked you up. Sorry, dude.
Well, point being, this instance of the same thing happened coincidentally,
Yeah.
very near to each other. You know, it's a crazy gay world, and what transpired is that there's a kind of dog chupacabra, which is more common to the southwestern United States, kind of Mexico area, kind of like the mainland of North America. And then you have your kind of Caribbean variant, which is more reptilian. And they pretty much are, and there's even reports of this in like Alaska. But those are more dubious, and that might be
There's some
an
reports of
entirely
it
different creature.
outside of the Americas as well, which again, a lot less, not as backed up as the ones in the Americas, but still possible.
Yeah, if you are living in Europe or Africa or even like some parts of South America, the threat of chupacabra will not be as harsh for you as it will be if you live in the Caribbean or if you live in America. And as I said, the origins of it basically come down to the fact that in the pastoral areas, they developed these kind of creatures that were more. It was kind of like they were hairless and they were hairless and they would like eat goats pretty much because they were feral.
They suck the blood out of goats. Yeah.
Yeah, it's how they get sustenance. And they're very vampiric,
Yeah,
which suggests kind
yeah,
of like a Romanian origin or historically Hungarian, depending on how racist you are.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. It does. Yeah.
and what that leads to is pretty much just people thinking that it's not the same phenomenon and that you
Sorry. Yeah.
can't call them both chupacabra, but actually
Yes.
you very much
You
can.
can call both of them
It's just
chupacabra.
there's there's a reptilian one for the Caribbean, as I've said, and a dog one for the Americas.
It's
Now the
thought a little
dog,
bit. Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, it's thought a little bit that the reptilian one in the Caribbean is adapted because it's obviously a wetter climate, so possibly that helps.
yeah, and obviously in the dry climate of the southwestern
Yeah.
United States, not having hair means that you don't sweat all the time. Uh,
Yeah.
and but the downside is you look like a testicle, so it's like
I
you
know.
know
I mean,
can't
hey,
count
we
your
all do
blessings.
sometimes.
Yeah, facts. Yeah.
Yeah. Come on. Come on.
We need that Manscaped sponsorship. Holla at us.
Oh, dude. Yeah, no, for real, side bit. Like, honestly, if anyone wants to
Yeah.
sponsor us and they're listening to this, just
Yo,
you know how to contact
Manscaped.
us. Yeah, or
Yo,
maybe you don't.
Manscaped, the Bulgarian Nationalist Party, anybody hit
We'll
us
take
up.
anyone as long as you want to
Yeah,
pay
we,
us.
we will promote anything. We
We'll
have
promote
no
literally.
shame.
If you pay us anything, we will promote anything. Yeah, well, I mean, mostly.
So true.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah. We have limits in terms of, at
Well, I mean,
minimum,
there's a limit in
five-star
what we
thing.
can do, but yeah, and there's got to be a bit of money, you know, can't be nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
come on, man.
Yeah. Anyway, were you still talking about the origins of the chupacabra, or
I'm about to close up because
okay,
the
cool.
origin
Sorry,
section is fairly
got a
straightforward.
little bit sidetracked there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the
Yeah.
flow of conversation. It's what sets
Exactly.
us apart from these fucking losers who do science and evidenced research. Uh,
Mm.
and the Mexican hairless dog, I don't know if I've mentioned this, is the origin of the kind of continental chupacabra.
Yeah.
And again, it's more adapted to the hotter climate, and it also just uses a lot of the kind of oxygen that's in the blood of these goats and sheep and things like that to kind of keep itself warm in a way. I don't exactly know how the process works, but
It's oh yeah. No, sorry.
yeah, no, you can explain it.
What am I explaining? I kind of forgot. What?
How they use the oxygenated blood to keep themselves warm.
Oh, because the blood's warm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
plain and simple. Warm blood,
Yeah,
warm goat sucker.
fact.
Yeah.
Um, and that's pretty much the origin for the desert chupacabra, as I'll be referring to it.
Yes.
And then you have the kind of more tropical chupacabra. That one is just evolved from kind of lizards and more reptilian creatures,
Mm,
and
mm.
it generally just kind of grew in size.
Looks a bit
Uh,
fishy.
Kinda.
Like literally. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not as amphibious,
No, no.
but the uh reptilian chupacabra actually has its origins fairly dubiously it's kind of dubious
Yeah.
because at the same time the big government obviously trying to hide the existence of the chupacabra to protect kind of smaller farmers and stuff.
Yeah.
The big government of Puerto Rico released a movie called Species in 1995. And you know that there's a conspiracy because nobody else remembers that movie
Yeah, I do.
except
I do not remember that movie at all.
uh
I do not
and
get this one, man. It's going over my head.
apparently this is from a top secret source. Apparently in that movie there was a reptilian creature that would like I don't know suck people off or
Suck.
something. I don't know.
Hey, I didn't know what this movie is. This is on you,
I
dude.
I,
This is
I
on
don't
you.
know. I found a special website that had it in 480p, and apparently
Oh.
there were three sequels, and I
Huh.
watched all of them for
Wow.
research.
Just for research, yeah.
But
Okay, fair.
yeah, just for
That's
research,
important
and
stuff. Yeah.
And I can't find it again, so I have absolutely nothing to back this claim up. But yeah, big government is trying to silence us.
Big government silences chief economist. Yeah.
Anyway, I think I'll
Yeah.
hand it over to the
I
resident
so
zoologist.
yeah, as part of my degree, I'm studying um, goat suckers. Uh, I'm writing a five. I'm writing a 50,000 word essay on goat sucker morphology. It's just how they look. Why do they look like that? You know, like come on, they're kind of whack.
It's weird, isn't it?
Starting with the sort of whatever Yuri called it, the terrestrial chupacabra. I don't.
The continental.
The continental one. That's what I meant. Yeah. So that's kind of both chupacabra taxa kind of look very vaguely similar. They sort of run quite quickly on sort of like two legs, sometimes four when they're at like full pelt. They're kind of hunched over. They look kind of gnarly and nasty and just like whoa, you know, not great. You wouldn't want to see one of those in a dark alley.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly, dude. And then, but the continental one is more dog-like in appearance, and the Caribbean variant is more, reptilian. The continental one often gets confused for a werewolf, actually, and that can be quite like troublesome because you do have to differentiate them, and it's not always that easy. The easiest way to do it is to determine what their prey is, because of course, goat sucker's gonna suck, you know, but werewolves don't.
Yeah,
Werewolves don't do that.
wolves are more less penetrating.
Yeah, yeah, That's true. I can't fool you on that. That's true. But
They're more about the meat than they are the beverage, if you will.
yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But the continental chupacabra, kind of dog face, hairless, kind of gross looking, like a lot of skin on it, obviously because it's got no hair, as I literally just said. But that skin,
It's kind of like a
not looking
chihuahua
good,
upscaled and then looking less dumb.
and more like more gross.
Yeah.
If you can even imagine that, more gross than a chihuahua. If you're
God, fucking chihuahuas,
fuck
man. Oh my
chihuahuas,
god.
dude. Oh my god,
Jesus.
they're
They're
worse
kind
than goat suckers.
oh man, Chihuahuas used to be cool. They were like these little motherfuckers.
They were never cool. I'm sorry, dude. They were never cool. Don't.
It's because the white people got.
They were never. Don't even. They were never cool. The chupa chihuahua or something. Wait, I'm losing it. I'm going. I'm losing.
We've gone fucking insane trying to figure out what the hell this thing looks like.
Government.
There are 70 different sources on how it looks like someone's testicles. Why the fuck do we figure out what this thing looks like?
Dude, the fucking goat. The background goat is staring into my soul, dude. I can't. Oh.
Oh,
No. It's so upsetting.
This is so bad.
It's good. Anyway, the reptilian one looks more like a reptile, and by reptile I mean lizard. It's got kind of little bearded dragony fins. It's got more claws. It's obviously scaly. Still looks gross. Still looks a bit like a chihuahua, but more lizard, and it's obviously cold-blooded as opposed to the continental one, which is warm-blooded. So that's another way you can tell them apart. Yeah. But both suck goats.
That's
the
one
characteristic
that makes them chupacabras.
Yeah, and that's just one aspect of their behavior. You know, there's many others.
Yeah, but the main thing that makes them chupacabras, because that means goat sucker, is the goat sucking.
Yeah, but well, when you talk about their other behaviors, you know,
that's true. 'Cause they do have a lot
they
of
do have
other
other behaviors, don't they?
Like they skulk around a lot, and in like open pastures. They gotta just
They
lie down
skulk,
and like
bro.
they skulk.
Me and the boys skulking for goats at 3 a.m.
They actually don't do packs in like they don't go around in packs. And I
No, I
think
know.
that's because a key element to their evolution is the 1976 movie Taxi Driver. Uh, and they they
Alhamdulillah.
they only watched the first like the bit of Taxi Driver where he just like kind of shoots a bunch of prostitutes, and they showed that to a bunch of dogs in a CIA lab, and that's how the Continental Chupacabra was gained that power. And then obviously Taxi
I'm
Driver
what
got
skulking.
the Taxi Driver got shown in a drive-in theater in Puerto Rico, and a bunch
Bunch of
of
iguanas. Yeah.
iguanas, yeah, actually saw it, and
Became
then
chupacabra.
they were cameras, yeah. You
And
can
they
see
started
it. You can see them
skulking,
all.
bro. That shit got me skulking. This is a direct quote from one of the iguanas after the movie.
Yeah, we got that from Iguana News, which is from which before the
It's the main source of news on the island of Puerto Rico.
yeah, on iguanas in Puerto Rico, and fiercely anti-Cuban.
Oh,
Not
oh,
anti
we
like
don't have even
not,
time to get into that. That is
oh
so
yeah.
anti-Cuban. It's
Oh,
ridiculous.
we
They
we
do
gotta
not.
get it,
Those
guys.
iguanas. Expect a
Guys,
follow-up
get
episode.
educated.
Yeah, about
And
the free iguana news and their anti-Cuban bias. Because we'll be back to talk about that, honestly.
we
Unless
will totally
the
be back.
iguanas get to us first.
Oh, we have to stop showing Taxi Driver in the Americas. He keeps
It keeps
turning
going
these
wrong.
animals. He keeps turning these animals into skulking goat suckers.
Goddamn skulkers, bro.
Who are skulking in the fields. But point being, another habit they like to do is to just kind of hold unlit cigarettes in their mouth.
What? Is this another taxi driver thing, bro? Like, what are you doing?
No, again, it's trust me, it's a real thing. This is more a kind of Puerto Rican thing, just due to them being kind of again more tropical. What they like to do is they actually like to kind of have it in their mouths to kind of stop chattering, because they get cold very easily. And that's again
Yeah.
because creatures they're sucking are warm-blooded. That's what
Hmm.
else kind of helps them kind of stay warm.
You know, it's
You
actually
get what I mean?
theorized that Lin Manuel Miranda, the king of Puerto Rico, his parents are chupacabras. Yeah, I heard that.
I mean,
I heard that's true.
Lin-Manuel Miranda,
Oh yeah.
rather interestingly, was actually spotted in
He
2001.
spotted skulking, dude.
He
He was spotted watching Taxi Driver.
Yeah, he was actually in a freak Taxi Driver viewing accident.
He accidentally saw Taxi Driver and started skulking.
Yeah,
And that was the inspiration for Hamilton.
yeah, the inspiration for Hamilton
Was
was
Taxi
actually to
Driver.
try and it was just Taxi Driver. Yeah, was Martin Scorsese's Taxi Driver. And really what it kind of comes down to with their behavior is they're very individualistic. They're very they prefer kind of the night. And they really like Martin Scorsese's Taxi Driver.
Oh, dude.
And that's really the characteristics that you need of a chupacabra, obviously apart from the animal murder and the
Yeah,
blood
that's
sucking.
a little bit.
Now, I should mention chupacabras are mostly defensive with humans.
Sorry?
Yeah, so whenever there's like a whenever they do their attacks, if
Oh,
a
yeah.
human spots them, if a human does anything,
Yeah, they're
unless the
elusive.
human attacks first, they don't attack you back, they'll usually just run away. So do not be scared if you do see a chupacabra. It won't attack you. It will try to run away. If you have a good shot, kill it.
They're very
But your
different
best
to
bet,
skinwalkers in that sense.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And your best bet is to just kind of go back in your house, and whatever you do, just lock all the windows. Make sure you lock your sheep and goats in a barn,
Mhm.
and whatever you do, make sure that if you have any dogs in the house, uh, do not let
Do
the
not let them.
chupacabras get near them.
Yeah, because they'll show the
Because
dogs
they
Taxi
will they
Driver.
will they will recommend them Taxi
They will
Driver.
shave your dogs and make them watch Taxi Driver, and
Taxi
then you're
Driver,
done
yeah.
for. You're done for.
Yeah, that's two chupacabras now.
Because that's like the one time they'll attack a person is when there's like a few of them. Because they're irate anyway, because they don't like
Yeah,
to be
they
in
don't like
groups,
each other.
you
Yeah,
know? So
because
they're like,
you
all right,
can't skulk in groups.
you can't really.
It's impossible.
It's
Very expensive. Be
literally impossible to skulk in a group.
careful. Yeah. Um.
Cannot be done.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Bro, keep going. Find your inner
Uh,
strength. Find your inner strength to talk about these goat suckers.
fucking goat sucking skulkers. Um. These motherfuckers keep calling Taxi Driver Kino. It's not Kino. It's just a story about some fucking loser. Anyway.
Oh my god. I
Um.
think I really need some. Well, maybe I shouldn't, but I feel like I should watch Taxi Driver.
It's
Will
good.
I
It's
start
good.
skulking? Is the question.
I don't think so, man. You do have a part.
Taxi Driver and starts skulking.
Man skulks on fly.
Man shaved. Man shaves dog on flight, then starts skulking.
Man shaves dog and forces it to watch Taxi Driver.
Man, oh my god, dude, my throat.
Fucking hell.
Good thing I got my water.
Shit, um, it's
Okay, time to talk about 2007 Chupacabra incident.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll hand it over to you for that.
This incident took place on a plane. No. Sorry, listeners. That's a lie. It didn't take place on a plane.
Yeah.
This is a continental chupacabra incident. It took place in South Texas, and involved basically a sort of farmer sighted a chupacabra quite late at night while it was attacking his livestock. And this is sort of a pretty run-of-the-mill incident. It's kind of what you expect with chupacabras. They attack goats, right? And so this farmer left his goats out, suspecting standard day of or standard night of goat herding. But he heard some right scary noises in the dead of night, and went to check what it was. And that's when he claims to have witnessed chupacabra sucking one of his goats.
Yeah.
I know, terrible stuff.
It's really awful. I think the area where it was done was the kind of Rio Grande basin. That might be actually in the north of Texas. I'm not sure, but I've heard
It's
a lot of
it's that kind of
there.
area. You get the vibe, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
vibe. Yeah. And what it kind of really shows this story is what we're doing with it is we're just trying to show you the average reaction that someone has to
I
the
mean,
chupacabra.
you've got a few incidents to get through. Don't get ahead of yourself. But
Yeah, but
that's the
this
sort of
one's
standard
specific.
one. Quite an interesting one was an interaction between a traveller, a chupacabra, and a skinwalker. Maybe you're aware of what
Ooh.
skinwalkers are. Maybe you're not.
I'm
We don't
actually not well read on it.
really have massive time to get into them now, but they're very aggressive and frequently attack humans. But this is actually quite one of the reasons it's an interesting incident is because the chupacabra and skinwalker ended up in conflict with one another. probably the main reason we know about it, because it allowed the spectator, the human who witnessed this, to get away, and it's why we've heard about it now. But basically, yeah, someone ran into a skinwalker. It's not looking good for them, but a chupacabra showed up and actually attacked the skinwalker. And this is very like under researched area of chupacabra behavior, because we don't really know how they interact with other creatures and beings, mainly because they're so skulky. You don't really see
And
them.
also just because this is one of the very few trusted documented
Well,
incidents.
yeah, sure. No, that's true. It's hard to verify the research on this, but that was definitely a skinwalker moment. I meant
So,
chupacabra moment, but it was both of them moment, really. They were both there. They were
yeah,
doing shit. Yeah.
it was just it was an INTJ thing. That's what it really kind of boils down
Mm.
to.
And another weird incident. This one is of the reptilian, the Caribbean variant. Um, Someone working at like an ice cream place heard a lot of sound out back, and witnessed a chupacabra sucking ice cream, as opposed to ghost blood. And no idea why it was doing this. Possibly it had rabies or something and had gone insane. But man, that ice cream was getting slurped right up. Let me tell you.
Yeah, it's slurping.
Oh my god. Slurping for real.
Goat.
Yeah.
Fact.
Oh my god, dude, the goat, literally. The
Goat.
goat sucking goat. Yeah,
Oh,
I know.
damn.
I know. But we still don't know why the chupacabra did that. It's hard to say. Maybe we'll never know. But
Yeah.
this is a good moment to say, if any of our viewers have any chupacabra incidents they'd like to report, please do get in contact with us, because it's an ongoing field of research, and we can send it on to the appropriate researchers and scientific
Yeah,
bodies.
we
Yeah.
build a pool of information. Really.
Yeah, we will. We will. But that's sort of all we have time for today to talk about the chupacabra.
Yeah.
I hope you learned a lot about this strange, skulky little creature.
Yeah, it's important that people know what kind of these they go through, because this is a
What
very
they
much a
go through, dude.
regionalized kind of thing.
Everyone always asks, what is the chupacabra, but never, how is the chupacabra?
So, no, because they're always skulking, so you
That's
can't
true,
get like
you can't, actually. No one knows what they're going through.
like
Maybe they're just misunderstood.
maybe what
Maybe
we
we
need
treated
to
them
do-
too harshly.
exactly.
Oh
Maybe
my
we
God.
did. I think we
I'm having a moment of clarity, and I'm
about
regretting anything I've ever said against the
the
chupacabras. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
maybe you know what? After this, we should watch Taxi Driver.
Yeah, you know what? We should watch Taxi Driver. I'm with
And you
on
know
that.
what? I'm gonna put on my coat. I'm gonna shave my head and I'm gonna skulk. I'm gonna go to my
You
local
gonna
build.
skulk?
I'm gonna
Yeah,
skulk.
maybe I'll skulk tonight. It's a good dark cloudy night. Could get out and do some skulking.
Yeah.
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 Huh.
Obviously, I'm not gonna like
Yeah.
kill ghosts, but like
No,
you know,
not interested in goods. Yeah. Well, on that note, everyone, have a pleasant night.
thank you.
Yeah, and thank you for
Bye.
listening. Goodbye.
Thank you
Bye.
for listening.